Bless you.
Excuse me. Whew. That was a good one. That was one that like stressed my back.
I actually saw that.
Did you?
Yeah.
Thank God we're not in the COVID days. Remember during the COVID days, someone would sneeze and everybody would panic? No!
No!
God, they mind fucked us.
People are still like that in LA.
Oh my God, I saw somebody walking across the street yesterday with a mask on out here.
I try to be good faith, benefit of the doubt. Like maybe they have a cold and they're trying not to spread it.
Yeah.
Maybe we're just more aware of that stuff now. If you're sick, you're just trying not to get other people sick.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, listen.
I freak out when
people
it's
with
like
cancer,
parents.
people with like real.
Yeah.
I get it.
Immunocompromised. There's a guy in our neighborhood who I had this conversation with Jeren again. I was like, look, because he was like, he's in a mask walking. Why? And I was like, hey, look, maybe. And I just listed all the things I listed to you. And he was like, no, because he wasn't like that before the pandemic. I used to see him all the time. I was like, damn it.
Well, there are a lot of people like that. There's a lot of people like that. They just never came back. They're committed to this idea that it's also like there's this narrative that was being established that if you're wearing a mask, you're a good person.
Yeah.
And but despite all of the evidence that shows that they don't really work, especially when you're walking around with those stupid surgical masks on.
Remember
those
the
loose
cloth ones?
Yeah.
I think I wore a bandana for like the whole early part of the pandemic, which has just made me look cool, but did nothing.
Well, it's good because you can keep it around your neck.
Yeah.
And it's not horrible. And they just pull it up when you have to. But people realize it was just, well, we were like signaling, right? We were signaling, hey, we're trying to be a good person. We know this is weird times. You know, we're all right. But then there was a few of us that had COVID and were like, hey, this is crazy. Like, this is not much different than having the flu. Like, we never do that with the flu. If you go, it used to be
you
that
probably should with the flu.
Yeah.
Way more likely to kill children, way more likely to affect pregnant women.
Yeah, well, old people are much more affected by COVID. COVID is rough.
Yeah,
it's rough on fat
rough.
people, rough on old people.
The fats and the olds.
Yeah, those are the ones that got it, and people with bad vitamin D and bad immune systems, and and poor diet. And the thing is, like the crazy thing is, like all these people wanted to fix it with a drug. That was the conversation that I had with Peter Hotez on the podcast when I asked him, like, do you take care of yourself? And it turned out he didn't at all. Like, he eats junk food. He doesn't take vitamins, barely exercise. He would walk a little bit.
But isn't that what they're trying to do now with, like, obese kids? Recently it came out. They're like, you can get surgery for these kids who are under 12 years old. And it's like, or tell them to go get their fat asses outside and play.
Doing that to a child, doing that surgery to a child is fucking criminal. Like, there's a way to avoid this. This idea that you can't avoid this by giving them healthy food is so fucking stupid. It's so mind-blowingly stupid. And I don't understand it other than money. I mean, I'll try to be, like, as objective as possible. Like, maybe there's a reason why they're doing this, but there's not. There's no reason that makes sense other than they're doing this because of money.
They want to make money.
Yeah, they want to make money.
Yeah.
There's money in medicines.
Yeah.
There's money, like that's why they keep pushing the semaglutide now. You see that everywhere.
Yeah, I've heard about it.
Yeah, we talked about it on the podcast.
Last time.
34% of what you lose is muscle, bone mass, and connective tissue. Literally, 34%.
No.
It's crazy.
I
mean, there might be a way to mitigate that with weight training while you're doing it. I don't know. It kind of makes sense. Like if you're doing that and you're also weight training. But there's no free lunch. There's no biological free lunch when it comes to a quick fix for something that has to do with you're putting the wrong things into your body and your body's reacting in a very negative way.
It seems dangerous to try and make people think that they can just take a pill or have a surgery to fix their problems.
It is dangerous, but it's a sign of being captured by an industry. There's an industry that relies on human beings and their illnesses in order to generate vast amounts of wealth.
Yeah.
And that's what they're doing. They're further feeding this. And this industry was propped up during COVID in a massive way. The amount of money generated during COVID for the pharmaceutical industry was fucking tremendous.
Yeah.
And so when they're trying to figure out new ways to expand their income, this is a way to expand their income. Look at all these obese people that were, unnaturally or, disproportionately affected by COVID. Why don't we figure out a way to fix them with drugs, and then we can sell them the drugs? And that's what they're doing. Or sell them the surgeries, or sell them the treatments. And The treatment is don't eat fucking horrible things.
I know, and people will say food deserts and all of these other problems, but I still think it's easy. I mean, I don't know. I still think it's easier to eat well. It just takes a little bit more time generally.
It just doesn't taste as good. That's what it is. Like if you really want a milkshake and a fucking Big Mac and fries, that's what you want.
Right.
And then if instead you're eating a salad with grilled chicken on it, you're like, fuck this.
I was a weird like drunk person who craved salads. So I would be like, I want a Greek salad right now. It's just I was
That's
weird
why you're not
like
fat.
that. I mean, I think we got a pretty healthy dose of fat shaming growing up. It just in our family. It was just around from the grandparents.
Grandparents fat shamed?
They didn't fat shame specifically. It was more just like my grandmother had a pillow, you can never be too rich or too thin. And it was just an embroidered pillow that she had but I'm like, I wonder what that imprinted in my young mind. And
you could definitely be both of those things. You could be too rich. If you're too rich, then you're some fucking alien that no one can relate to, and everybody's mad at you for having all this money. Yeah. Or any of those guys, Bezos, Bill Gates, any of those people that have insane amounts of money. You're a fucking target.
Yeah.
You know, and when you're having bridges taken down because your yacht is so big it can't pass through the bridge.
Yeah. We cover that on Dumpster Fire all the time.
Apparently they abandoned that idea.
Well, because they were throwing eggs at him in his yacht and stuff like that, and the people were very angry and they were not having it. I don't know what they were thinking. I'm like, didn't they take this into account when they were building this thing, or did they just assume that they could take it down because he's the richest guy?
I wonder what the conversation was. I wonder if he said, "Hey, I want the most baller yacht ever," and they're like, "We got you, fam," and that was the end of the conversation. And then they're like, "We're gonna have to disassemble this bridge." And
they're like, "It'll be fine."
And he's in his office, like, "What? They're gonna do what? A bridge? Well, I don't want to know about it. Like, hopefully nobody will notice."
I think these guys are really, truly, and I did see this even when I was with the wealthy guy referenced earlier, just you get so used to getting whatever you want and never hearing no, it like damages your brain.
Yeah.
It's not good to never hear no in your life, even as a child and even as an adult.
Yeah.
You know, you have to, there need to be, When was the last time you heard no, Joe?
All the time.
Yeah, I feel like you're pretty grounded, like for somebody. But again, you aren't like multiple billionaire.
No, I ground myself too.
Yeah,
this is very important.
You hang out with the poors.
Yeah, hang out with the poors.
Yeah,
and also like I don't, I'm not, even though I'm wealthy, I don't live like that for the most part.